Catalyst. Building relationships. We turn insight into action, creating institutional-grade real estate opportunities with above-market returns. Your go-to podcast for multifamily investing, build-to-rent strategies, and development trends.
Nicole, welcome. Great to see you again. Thanks so much for taking some time with us today. I wanted to have you on and really kind of talk about all of the just all the work that you guys are doing in the real estate space, specifically around self-directed IRAs. To provide a little bit of context, so a number of our investors work with you guys. They have their IRAs set up through you and have used that as a vehicle to invest in our projects. So really what I was hoping to do today is just give people a little bit of education on, what are the benefits to that? How do they do it? What's the onboarding process? And things of that nature. So with all that said, do you mind maybe just giving us a quick background on you and Madison Trust and just a little bit about what you guys do? And then we can kind of jump into some of the questions that I had for you today.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for having me on, Ted. It's a pleasure to be here again and representing Madison Trust Company. My name is Nicole. I'm a part of the sponsors team here. So I work with investment sponsors to help facilitate investments for their investors, you name it, and all different types of investments, real estate, private equity, promissory note lending. Our clients are extremely creative. So, we'd love to work with our sponsors to figure out, their capital raising goals for the year and discuss ways we can assist streamline services for clients who are interested in diversifying retirement income.
That's awesome. No, that's great. Well, maybe if you could just start us out with what are some of the biggest advantages that investors realize in really working with you guys and just going through the self-directed process? Like what do you find are the reasons that people are coming in and I guess, the advantages that they're finding in doing that versus just doing a direct investment that's not through this type of vehicle?
Sure, absolutely. So a self-directed IRA really gives the investors the ability to diversify beyond the traditional stock market, and it's into tangible investments like real estate. The biggest advantage is the control. The investor is choosing the investments and that they understand that they're passionate about. The self-directed IRA process allows investors to grow rental income and appreciation on a tax-deferred or tax-free basis, depending on whether the account is a traditional or Roth IRA. We do have traditional Roth, SEP, simple IRAs at Madison Trust Company. And finally, of course, it opens the door to strategies like purchasing rental properties, participating in real estate funds, or even investing into promissory notes or private placements within the retirement account.
Nice. And then do you mind telling us just really briefly, I know these are potentially rabbit holes, but just some of the various types of IRAs like the Roth and SEP. Do you mind just giving us like a really brief overview of what each of those are? Obviously we're not giving tax advice here, but just, just something that would give us a brief overview of what those are and maybe what the advantages and pros and cons of each of those are.
Well, one of the most popular account types at Madison Trust is a Roth IRA account, but we do hold, like I said, traditional Roth, SEP, or simple IRA accounts at Madison Trust. We also take on inherited IRA accounts. And of course, the investor chooses the type of IRA account they want to open, and it's really just dependent on when they want to be taxed, right? Post or pre-tax funds. Of course, it also depends on where the money currently is being held that they plan on sending into Madison Trust Company. If it's a Roth IRA at, let's say, Charles Schwab or Fidelity, that means the client has to open up a Roth IRA at Madison Trust Company. So I would encourage all clients to look at the IRS chart that is on their website that alerts clients the types of transfers that they can process within a year, what you can process and open up another IRA, and direct rollovers and how that all works as well.
Got it. Excellent. What do you find are maybe the most common things? So when somebody's coming into the space new, so maybe they're new to the whole concept of a self-directed type of vehicle, what do you find that are their most common questions or concerns? What are the things that are generally on their mind when they're coming to you guys, sort of, I guess, new in that regard?
Absolutely. I get this question a lot, especially in the real estate space, right? So, first they ask me, can I live in the property? Or can somebody I know, like my family member, personally use the property? And that's really where Madison Trust comes in and clarifies the prohibited transactions and disqualified persons that, can't be living or
Right.
benefiting from the property whatsoever. Um, Next question they typically ask is how do expenses and income work? And
Right.
that's where we outline that all income must return to the IRA and all expenses must be paid from the IRA. So we're talking you have a tree removal that needs to take place on the property or windows need to be replaced. That all needs to come through the self-directed IRA account at Madison Trust so we can pay off that repair. um, and then,
Go-
like, lastly, we have clients that ask what types of real estate qualify.
Yeah.
And we take everything from single family rentals to syndications, multifamily, commercial, land. Those are all qualified real estate investments to hold within a self directed IRA. What I find mostly, I mean, I've been working for this organization for the past 4 years, and our clients they really just want reassurance on the investments that they're placing through their IRA. And like I said before, we are a passive custodian. We're not able to provide any tax, financial, or legal advice, but we do walk them through what we can hold, what is permissible, and what we are not able to hold at Madison.
Got it. Got it. That makes sense. And yeah, just to clarify, as it relates to the work that we do with you guys, because our investors, as they come in, are they're not direct owners of real estate, right? Like they have membership interest in an LLC that generally owns another LLC that generally owns real estate. So I think what I think is really cool about this product is that it can sort of operate in the partnership realm, whereas compared to say a 1031 exchange, where you have to have direct ownership of real estate. That's not the case here, and we found it to be incredibly versatile in that regard. And essentially, people sometimes taking dollars out of publicly traded securities or even bonds in some instances and putting them in this type of vehicle, but then getting exposure to alternative assets like we have. Seems to be pretty beneficial. And go ahead, sorry, I cut you off.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to add to that. We have two branches at Madison Trust. We have the self-directed IRA piece, and then we also have the IRA LLC piece, which handles checkbook control models for clients.
Got it.
So that is very popular amongst our investors who want to hold real estate investments that are active. It also alleviates any financial burden of Madison Trust having to write the checks every time. The clients take on writing checks for that, like I said, that tree removal or that window
Right.
replacement. And it allows clients that flexibility to just do it on their own while utilizing retirement income.
Got it. Got it. And you've probably touched on some of this before, but what would you say to, say, a first time investor that is, what are the major things to look out for? I mean, I'm assuming there's a number of things, a lot of, I would say the benefit of this type
Yep.
of structure is tax related, but like, what would you say to someone who's a total novice?
Mhm.
What are the main things to look out for, I guess, as you're thinking about some sort of investment in terms of structuring a lease, like some sort of investing through, whether it be into an alternative investment like we have or direct
Mhm.
ownership, or, what are the, I guess, the major things that you see could potentially be foot faults if not paid attention to?
Of course. So Madison Trust Company, we have 23,000 investors, and majority of these investors are accredited. However, they're placing investments through a self-directed IRA for the first time. So
Yeah.
I always tell my first-time investors to really be mindful of three things. The first thing is prohibited transactions. We
Hmm.
want to ensure that they are not personally benefiting from the property, and neither are their close family members. We do want to ensure they're being mindful of cash flow planning. So make
Right.
sure that the IRA has enough liquidity to cover expenses like taxes or insurance or unexpected repairs. And lastly, choosing reputable partners. Like, clients are going to do their due diligence on the custodians that they're choosing to use. Uh, Madison Trust is a preferred custodian,
Yeah,
of
of course.
course. But they should be mindful of whether it's a syndication, a lender, or a property manager, just to do their due diligence to ensure that their views are aligned and they align with the investment that they would like to custody in their retirement account. If investors are being mindful of those three things, I really think that their experience will be smooth and straightforward.
Nice. No, that makes a ton of sense. And tell me about, if you would, your all's onboarding process, because we've had a couple of our clients or our investors go through it. They speak very highly of you guys and how easy it is. But maybe if you don't mind, just tell us a little bit about how that works and how, what the steps somebody would go through to get onboarded.
Of course. So Madison Trust Company clients, they really go through a three-step process. The process is open, fund, invest. The
Got it.
client will open up a self-directed IRA account, usually takes 10 minutes or less to complete that account application. They will receive an account number within 24 hours. From there, we're going to work with them to fund the IRA account. So are they planning on doing a direct rollover from a 401k? Are they planning on, initiating a transfer into the IRA account from another custodian? Or are they planning on doing a contribution based on their age and the tax limit for the
Right.
year? And then lastly, we're working with the investor to place the investment. So that's where we're going to work with them on investment documentation, making sure all of the documentation is in order and provided to Madison Trust with the proper titling. And then that's really when they direct us to send the money out of their Madison Trust account.
Got it. Got it. No, that all makes sense. And then what about from an ongoing perspective? Is there? I think there is an annual like valuation type process that I think we've had to do on behalf of clients. But maybe if you could talk to that a little bit too, just sort of what someone should be aware of in terms of just ongoing compliance, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, of course. So Madison Trust Company will be requiring all investors to provide an annual IRA asset valuation.
Got it.
So that should be provided on an annual basis, and it's just making sure that our records are up to date with the entity that is held within the IRA account. The asset grows by 30%. Congratulations, that's
Right.
amazing, but we do want to know why.
Right.
As an over 30% increase, allows our compliance department to really get involved, as well as a decrease, right? We want to know what's going on within the investment. So we do recommend clients provide that. Majority of the time, the investment sponsors are the ones that are providing that on
Yeah.
behalf of all of their investors. And it's a pretty streamlined process. We now have a new sponsor portal at Madison Trust that will eventually this year allow sponsors to record their IRA asset valuations for their clients almost instantaneously.
Oh, nice.
So exciting things to come on the sponsor team front. And of course, we are working on ways for clients to be able to do this directly through their own client portals as well. So exciting
Got it.
things to come for clients and sponsors on that front.
No, it's great. And I know for us, because we're more of a direct operator and people are sort of investing with us and we're sort of doing the work, if you will, versus maybe somebody who's more of a direct owner that may own rental property, that's, more self-managing. That's something we would do is essentially provide those valuations on a regular basis. But what so I guess just to understand that though, if somebody were to, let's say they did own rental property directly, so they would be driving that valuation. They would be essentially self-reporting that. Is that essentially how that would work?
An IRA asset valuation at Madison Trust does require a third party to
Oh, I
sign
see.
off on it. A CPA or an auditor would typically sign off on that for the client to evaluate the
Got it.
property.
Got it. That makes sense. Perfect. Well, anything else you can think of? This has been incredibly helpful, and yeah, I think just our goal, like I said, was wanted to just really make this information available. Again, we've seen a lot of our investors have enjoyed working with you guys, seen a lot of value out of it. Obviously, we figure or we believe that to be a more streamlined way of more tax advantaged way of making these types of investments. So yeah, thank you for your time. Anything else you could think of that may be useful?
Yeah, of course. So many clients feel that the self-directed IRA process is a cumbersome one. So when they are
Right.
selecting a self-directed IRA, they're looking for a few things, right? They want to know a transparent fee structure. They want to know if their calls are going to be answered and not a
Yeah.
robot on the other end, or not somebody that's going to take weeks to be able to respond to an email. So just understand that Madison Trust offers, many resources to our investors to ensure that they are on track and ready for their next step of action. We have a fantastic program called Account Navigation, where a client is able to schedule a call with one of our team members, 20-minute, 30-minute, 40-minute phone call to really just explain, the open fund invest model, make
Yeah.
them aware of the respective forms needed, and help them through the fee structure and process there.
That's
So that's
great.
it's really to remove as much friction as possible so clients can focus on their investment strategy and not so much the paperwork.
No, it's perfect. Well, what we'll do is we'll provide in the description here a way to get in touch with you guys. So anybody that wants to reach out to you directly, feel free to do so. Like I said, whether they're an investor with us or not, or just enjoy the information and want to connect with you guys on something completely separate, then that'd be great. So thank you again, Nicole. It's always a pleasure, and I'm sure we'll be talking again soon. But yeah, thanks again for your time, and I'm sure we'll be working together a lot more in the future.
Excellent. Looking forward to seeing you again soon. Have a great day.
Thanks so much, Nicole. See ya.